What do they have to hide? Seriously. They're hiding something. That's quite obvious. Do you think it's possible that they broke the law? And that's the secret? How about the DNA sample size becoming twice as big as it was originally? That's not possible unless you did something dirty.
This is dirty.
Really, really, really dirty.
Dirty.
And I'm not talking about the type of dirty that Dylan Mortensen was
Reminder, this is a grown-ass man dressed as a clown.
doing in her bedroom that evening. Allegedly. Nobody really knows what she was doing, but we all have our own suspicions and ideas. And you know what mine is? S-E-X.
Sex.
Seriously. All the great minds in the state of Idaho could not determine whose DNA was on the knife sheath.
What happened in the Koberger case pretty much follows the line of what you had said. They started with trying the STR, running it through the CODIS database. They got no hits. And that would typically be someone who was already in the database because they've already been convicted or because DNA has already been gathered from a crime scene. So all that means is that person had never had their DNA gathered from a crime scene and had never been convicted of a crime, so their DNA was not in the database.
So they sent it to Texas, to a private laboratory.
Now, they had the SNP made at an outside lab. That may not be the right word.
That's right, but that's because, as I mentioned, none of the crime labs yet have the capability to create a SNP profile, so they have to send it to a third-party private lab. That's the only choice right now.
And even they couldn't figure out whose it was.
I'm sure that will change in the future, where law enforcement will start having their own technology and equipment to do this, but at this point, that hasn't happened yet.
So that was taken over by a 3-letter agency.
So I just want to make a note about the Koberger case. A couple of things. One, I absolutely think the authorities did the right thing, moving immediately to investigative genetic genealogy when they
Suddenly doubled in size.
didn't get that hit in CODIS. That is what I've been advocating for, because that's where we can have the biggest impact on public safety and make the most difference. We can potentially save lives and certainly keep these cases from going on for years and decades, like so many of the cases that I've been involved in.
And nobody knows how.
So the only part of it that was farmed out to a private lab or to a third party was just that analysis, where they took the DNA, created the SNP profile, and then it came back. Did send it out to a third party lab because they had to, but then it came back in-house. The FBI investigative genetic genealogy team are the ones that did the research.
The FBI investigative genetic genealogy team are the ones that did the research.
The FBI investigative genetic genealogy team are the ones that did the research.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's becoming quite clear. Brian Koberger's DNA was not on that sheath. They just pretended it was inside of a laboratory as they fudged numbers.